for being here today. My name is Marlon. I'm the CEO of eWealth, Metaplexus. If you guys are familiar with what we do, we help people make passive income through our digital e-franchises. We have over a 90% success rate. The reason that we're here today is because we're going to talk about Web 3.0 and digital currency and how the world is moving forward. You definitely don't want to be left behind. We're not going to talk about our e-franchise the entire time. We actually have experts in different fields here today, from NFTs to cryptocurrency. We have Benel, the CEO, who's the only company doing exactly what he's doing. We have Wizzo, a music producer with other projects. So I'm going to stop talking here and kind of let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself. Wizzo, if we can start with you, let us know what you do, what your expertise, what you're here to share with us today.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a producer, recording engineer. I used to produce and record with Nipsey Hussle. I'm also really involved in my community. I'm the Arts and Culture Commissioner for Ward 5 in City of Santa Ana. So,
Nice.
I'm super involved in just trying to bring Web3 to underserved communities, and also being a producer, how that actually relates to um, music production and digital currencies.
Fantastic. Thanks, Wizzo. That's cool, man. Nipsey Hussle's dope.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. What about you, Tracy?
Hi, everybody. I am, God, I'm so involved in Web3 at this point. It's just every different angle, but I sell my work as NFTs, and that's how I got involved in the first place. I was already purchasing crypto back in 2017, and then I just kind of, after the crash, walked away, didn't think about it for a few years, and then I got involved in NFTs, and I'm all, hey, let me look at this crypto. So I went back and looked, and I'm all like, oh, well, it over doubled since I let it just sit there. So, wow, there's something here. So I started getting involved in, like I said, NFTs. And now I am doing everything from selling my own work to flipping NFTs
Nice.
um, I started a women's NFT community to help onboard more women into the space through knowledge, education, and community.
Oh, nice.
Then I also accepted a position as creative director for Maxim NFT. So we will be launching a platform geared towards athletes, celebrities, influencers, and models, and so on and so forth. And that is in the very, very near future.
Excellent.
That's being modest. Tracy is usually one of the head speakers in Miami, Vegas, LA, all the conferences. She's like, has her finger on the pulse. She's done amazing stuff. Us being a military group, she's also a gun enthusiast. Like we'll put everyone's taglines of what we want. She's just bringing all her people into her forefront, which is smart. She's an amazing entrepreneur.
Mhm.
You remember MySpace back in the day? Of course. She do you guys know what Napkin Nights is, or was, I should say? Remember we used to go to nightclubs and there was people taking pictures of the ambiance, and then you would go on her website, Napkin Nights, and download it and put what you did the night before. Phenomenal. And that
On
was when I
MySpace.
first heard of her. Remember that?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Who's
Yeah.
this guy?
I should hire you as my publicist. What
And
do you do?
who's this Rick guy talking right now? Can you introduce yourself, brother?
I'm just lucky enough to know all these people somehow, and I just love bringing the community together. We met, Tracy and I met back in the day with. I used to work for Tap Out, and she was one of the main photographers,
I'm tour manager.
shooting the whole scene with Combat Lifestyles, right?
Yeah. And
Everywhere,
I was at
everywhere any UFC went, Tracy was there, and it was just that's why I originally met her, and I was just been intrigued, and ever since, old Tap Out,
Tap Out tour manager and cage side
Hmm.
UFC photographer. That was
Yeah.
right?
that's my past. I miss those days, but these
Yeah.
days are equally as fun.
But that's why I wanted to bring her on, because I wanted to learn how NFTs are changing artists' future in a sense. She's if you see her photography, it's nuts. Like I think years ago, I seen a picture and just blown away by her work, and I told her, or I comment, I should say, I appreciate her ability to see what most people can't see. And like you see her pictures, you're like, what? And I'm like, man, she's gonna turn that stuff into NFTs or something.
Yeah.
Tracy, how
The new one I'm
is
working on.
That's
Right?
awesome. Rick is a special. Rick is the one that brought us together, but Rick is also a client with us. He's an advisor, and he's also working behind another project with us at Metaplexus and eWealth. So thanks for bringing us all together, man. Super grateful. Manuel, can you go ahead and introduce yourself, brother? Let us know what you do and about your company and stuff.
How's it going, everybody? Manuel Rodriguez. I am CEO of ClearChain Life Company, the world's first ever cryptocurrency final expense company. It's basically an alternative to life insurance in the crypto space. We are the first, and we are in the process of completing our ICO as we speak. We also are bringing to market GoDonor, and GoDonor is basically crypto's version of GoFundMe. It's also a crypto Kickstarter. Our token Donor is launching on Bbox and a handful of other exchanges on the 15th. So we're really excited. It's definitely an intriguing market to enter into, but we feel like if we catch the flow, we're going to have an amazing opportunity. So been doing
Manny,
that 2014.
you guys were going to launch a few days ago, right, Manny? But the market.
Right. Yeah. So we were going to launch a few days ago, but because of the massive sell-off and the congestions, we basically felt that we strategically moved our launch to the 15th. We wanted to make sure that our pairing was done right. So instead of pairing our token with BNB and doing it, prematurely at a high cost, we ended up doing the whole pairing, which is basically our initial market cap, and we ended up buying our BNB in stages. So we bought 25% of our BNB at 310. Now we bought 25% more at 260 last night. We're gonna wait the next couple of days to see what the market does, and we'll end up purchasing our entire raise in BNB so we can do the pairing with the donor token, so that way it launches and we are able to maximize the current market climate into our favor.
Let's go. Nice.
This market took a toll on different things. Me and Manny are working on, and golly, it's a good time to buy.
My personal portfolio is down $1.25 million in the crypto right now. So yeah, tell me about it.
Ouch! I would be crying. Oh no.
Well, you got to withstand it. You hopefully you convert everything or some of it to USDT, and that doesn't do what happened yesterday with UST, with the stable coin of Luna.
But by the way, you guys, there's a lot of new beginners here as well. People that aren't as educated as you guys are the experts. Just feel free to tell me whenever. What's a way that you can describe Web 3.0 to people? What is it exactly, and why should they know?
I have a quick answer to that one, actually.
It's nice.
Web 1.0, big companies create content and big companies capitalize on that content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Web 2.0 is the people create content and big companies capitalize on that. Web 3.0 can be looked as people create content and people capitalize on that content. That's like the quickest way to look at Web 3. It's a way for the content and your identity to be decentralized, not only decentralized, but to have clear ownership of that.
I love that, man. I think it's the simplest answer so far. Yeah.
That's a good description. I use something similar to convince people of not getting left behind, but it's more like Web 1.0 is the birth of the internet, and Web 2.0 was social media and e-commerce. And then Web 3.0 is what we're going into right now with AR, VR, NFTs, and crypto. And you don't want to get left behind. So
Nice.
up on the train, or else you are going to get left behind like you did in Web 1.0 and Web 2.0.
Very true.
Lizzo, what are you working on right now? Because I've seen you dabble in the NFT space, and I want to find out from you, how will this change the music industry?
Yeah, so actually my first kind of jump into NFTs as a whole, I started really early. I was kind of a techie naysayer. I knew about cryptocurrencies, oh man, back when I was at NVIDIA. Like, I was going to build a Bitcoin miner. So that's how early I knew about You know, when you could build one with your home computer. I just didn't. I just was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do other things. You know, so I got left behind pretty quickly on the first run, and the second wave, I was, you know, I started to mine, and it was kind of right around um, maybe we got a couple of years, and I had some beats that I had left over from working with Nipsey, and I was like, wow, this could be a great NFT, right? Like people were looking at pictures, and I was still kind of the naysayer about just the art side of NFT, and I was like, I want to pair this with a little bit more utility, a little bit more like a physical product. So I looked at creating I created an NFT based around my experience with Nipsey, which just gave access to people to beats that nobody's ever heard, nobody will ever hear, and pictures nobody's ever seen, and things like that. So I thought that was really, really cool. I kind of kept going from there, and it was just more of a different experience, though. For me, I've always just been trading in equities because I'm big on financial education for underserved communities, and so that's what I was pushing. I just didn't see the mass adoption that was needed to or the stable platform development for normies to get in, right? And it happened extremely fast over the last 3 years. All those platforms, the opportunity and the means to be in part of Web3, just moved really, really fast. So for me, what I've been working on lately is the realization. I think we're talking about, you know, not letting get left, you know, not being left behind. For me, as a Latino, I looked around and I saw that we're not financially, we're like walking, you know, and the rest of the world is in the car. And if you look at, you know, kind of the cinnamon, the example that Tracy used about, you know, not getting left behind, if we're already left behind, you know, and if we look at what happened to Facebook, especially for, you know, my experience, you know, with my parents and Latino community, I saw my parents like naysay Facebook for a very long time. Now I'm pretty sure all of our parents here and everybody around us cannot live without Facebook. It's just something you do, right? But if the communities that we know, that we're trying to help, if those communities knew about Facebook very early on and they didn't look at it as a way to communicate, they look at it as a free marketplace, a lot of people would have made a lot more money. So the way I look at Web3 is the same way. It is a tool. It is a financial tool that I can unlock the potential of a community. So for me, I'm working on projects that unlock that potential. So I have a project, an NFT project that I'm working on that is looking at that. It's looking at underserved communities and seeing how we can use Web3, and not from just the education piece, because I think that's very important, but if we're all focusing on education, who's focusing on opportunity and implementation, right? So we're trying to focus on opportunity and implementation. So when everybody's educated, who do they go to? Like what other projects? Like who can you point out in the top 10, you know, OpenSea list that is a Latino based or underserved community, right? You know, there's very few projects under that represent underserved communities, whether it's, you know, LGBTQ or women's movements. There's only a few. And if you step down that ladder and you're looking for projects that represent underserved communities that are of not even this country, there's literally none. So that's kind of what I've been working on, is to see if from this side of the coin, where the conversion ratio from, you know, our monetary value to the cryptocurrency is much more favorable. If we can do it here, then it can be done. Because if we can't do it here, then it's going to be very hard for someone in Mexico to do it with pesos.
Right on. Thanks, Wizzo. We're going to be putting all Wizzo's info inside of the description as soon as live is over as well. I also want you guys to keep in mind that sometimes being experts, we forget how little people don't know from the very beginning. Like people don't even know what an NFT is really. Some people think it's just like a JPEG, an image. What is an NFT? What's the simplest way you can describe it?
Well, I'm sure that our panelists here all have their own version in their mind, which I think
Sure.
it's what I think that's the beauty of it. An NFT really is just a way that if anybody here is familiar with trading Pokemon cards or baseball cards, it's the same way to look at it. It is a collectible that can't be duplicated. But from a technical perspective, it is a pointer to a digital asset. So NFTs represent digital assets. Right now, we're very inclined to look at NFTs as the only thing that holds value is pictures. But the reality is NFTs can be much more than that. They can be dynamic. They can be static. They can represent things that change. They can represent things that have a lot of value, and they can also represent receipts to our life that don't have any type of value, but the ones that we give to them with such things as like POAPs, right? POAPs are this really fun way that people can get involved with NFTs without actually having to be exposed to that volatility. And it's just a fun way to record that you were there, right? So
Thank you for reminding me. I need to make a POAP today.
Yeah, POAPs are so important. It's like it brings back like the MySpace feel. It brings back all these nostalgic things about the internet, and it's just about recording a moment, right? So NFTs can represent value. They can represent moments. They can represent trustless transactions between two parties. So right now, I'm really excited about the future of NFTs because I believe the future of NFTs is going to be much more dynamic, meaning NFTs is not going to just be a picture. It can be something that is changing every day, like the weather, or a dynamic picture of an artist that continues to draw that picture for you. So to me, NFTs are just the beginning of cutting out the middleman in a very dynamic way.
They also represent, a potential for passive income. If you take an asset, which is an NFT, and you stake it, you have the ability to maintain ownership of your NFT, yet receive a passive income based on the staking platform that you're utilizing.
Heck yeah.
You just gave me an idea, like Tracy, I remember seeing some images, and it's kind of layered, like it's a time lapse in a sense. So I'm thinking you can do an NFT for this, and this, and then when you have all three, it's worth this much more. I'm sure people are already doing something like that.
A lot of what I say to people that are confused by a picture of an ape or a picture of, some cat or something, I say that the NFT isn't actually that picture, although it can add value based on the different traits in the picture. The NFT and the value behind it has to do with the loyalty club, the exclusive club that you're allowed to be a part of as a result of holding that NFT. And when you talk about it in that way, that it's not the NFT itself, it's more what comes behind it, people start to understand that a lot more. So I think that the thing that confuses people the most is they're like, why would this picture be worth $500,000? Well, it's not that the picture is worth $500,000. It's what the picture represents and the access to the exclusive club that people are allowed to be in. That's what that represents. And NFTs can be literally anything. Like, people have no idea. This is going to change for the music industry. This is going to change ticketing. For the events industry, it's going to change ticketing. It's going to be huge. But it's going to change everything. I think one of the biggest things that is the most antiquated out there is going to change copyright. Copyright is huge. And it's just so antiquated at this point. And to be able to write a copyright, like, how can you not go into a courtroom and say, well, look, I put it on the blockchain. It was first there, at that point, like, how can anyone argue that?
Yep. No, that's so true. And you know what? To point out two things, Rick, what you just mentioned is called async.art. It's an NFT place that actually does that. It's layered, so you get to own different layers of that. But to add to what Tracy was just saying, I think one of the best, easiest ways that people already use NFTs, they just don't know it, is their Target card, their rewards points, or like my girlfriend, she's a black member at a casino. Like that's a very high value NFT, like because she gets like money to play with. She gets perks. Like these are NFTs. I tell her like, oh, great, your NFT deposited some more WETH in your value. You're gonna go spend that WETH. It's like it's literally the same thing. Like it's a reward. But what it is, it's what it actually is for businesses. Think about what you have to be to have that kind of economy. You have to be like a huge company, and then you develop your infrastructure, and then you have a back end, and then you have all this transactional thing going in that ties into the front end. Like I can literally do that today with just a few lines of code and a few things, and I'll launch my own tokenized economy, and all that infrastructure is available to me. That's the difference between crypto and what the world currently exists, is that you and I and everybody here can have those types of like really defined memberships and create economies around that.
Nice, man. I love that. How long do you guys think it'll take for the world to fully adapt to NFTs and start using that for ticketing and, until it takes over?
Ticketing will be later this year, guaranteed. Mark Cuban will be the advocate behind that because he can sell his tickets and a scalper can buy them. And then in turn, when that scalper resells them, he gets, whatever percentage back. He will be the number one advocate behind pushing this technology. And if it's not already existing, it's just around the corner. So it will happen as far as ticketing this year. I also have friends who are launching an app that will allow you to use your NFTs as tickets to get into locations so that you don't have to have your wallet on your phone 24/7. Because right now there's not a scannable way to, scan your NFTs, but that's around the corner as well. So in their app that they're launching, they're going to be able to also loan out their NFTs. So say they're not able to go to an event, well, they can loan their NFT to a friend and their friend can go to the event. So that is all very current. It's very right now. It's like, with that particular app, that's within weeks. So we're going to see these changes very, very fast, very, very quick. And it's exciting to have started a year ago with NFTs. I was devastated. When I found out about NFTs, I was like, how long have these been around? And I look, and arguably you could go back as far as 2012 and, pick some certain minimal use cases or NFTs, but strongly 2014, 2015, they really started making a push. So when I look at, I didn't know until 2020, 2021, I was devastated. So I'm still early. That's the crazy part. I was devastated. Yeah. I was late and I'm still early. So it's an exciting place to be.
That's awesome. I love it. How can people get started? Do you guys offer anything that you can help people get started with?
Well, I have my women's community, and it's not only just for women. It's called WomenX NFT, womenxnft.com.
Nice.
And
we'll put that in the comments.
We do classes. A lot of it's in real life. So like tonight we're going roller skating, just a meetup to go roller skating. I feel that the in real life portion of the community is very important. That's why I just booked all these flights. I'm going to VCon next week. I'm going to NFT Connect and Decentralized and Consensus in Austin in beginning of June. I'm going to NFT NYC in end of June. And it's just event after event and after event. As we dive into Web3 and start getting stuck behind our computers and get into, virtual reality and all AR, VR, all this stuff, we got to remember that there's real life outside these doors and from behind our computers. So getting out there and meeting those people and hugging them. And, we lost 2 years of being, locked in our houses and doing COVID stuff. And it's just like, let's get out there and let's meet people and not forget that part of things, because COVID is a big reason why NFTs have exploded at this point, and crypto. Like think about all those people that got those stimulus checks and got the unemployment. If they were smart, they went and invested in crypto and NFTs, and a lot of them did. and that's not what the government wanted everybody to do, but that's what a lot of them did. And so that's why this is exploding right now, is because 2020. So,
You're
yeah.
right, Tracy. That's how I met Wizzo a couple years ago. We were at a little Latin community of traders, and we try to support each other. But it was during the pandemic. We're trying to
Yep.
learn. Wizzo knew a lot about it. I was learning how to trade, and you're right. During the pandemic, it exploded.
Yeah. There's a lot of capital out there.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts? One, what is crypto? What are your guys' thoughts on crypto? And should people get involved in crypto?
Manny, how are you doing right now? What are your plans since you took such a loss the past few
Again,
weeks?
I'll tell you a little bit about how I got into crypto. I got into crypto back in 2014, and that's because I was doing some online poker. The platform I was using started taking Bitcoin instead of PayPal, and so then I bought 5 Bitcoin at $400 a piece. Then soon after they kicked me off, they said I was a bot. So I left on in 2016. I started hopping up to 3,000. I looked at it and I said, wow, it's pretty incredible. I ended up adding another 150,000 out of pocket, and I really got into it. I started really looking at the different different top 10 at that point. Some of the strong ones, which are still some of the obviously the Bitcoins, Ethereums, and at that point I was really big on XRP. I still am, but I started looking at
How much
some
is
of the
it today?
Huh?
How much is XRP today?
It's dipped down to 40 cents, but
I'm sorry.
it topped off at $3.50. Now here's just speaking of XRP, I think that I have a really good thought about XRP and how it's gone through the struggles with the SEC, which who knows what the SEC will plan to do with all the other cryptos. But if anybody gets out unscathed, it'll be XRP, who's been under the thumb for the last 3, 4, 5 years.
They're putting in work.
Right. So you start talking about that, and you look at their huge capacity of volume, but you start looking at the fact that they've gone through already all this all the dynamics that potentially all the other crypto companies may potentially go through. And if you look at it, it can easily be something that comes out as one of the top market, or if not the top market cap holder. It can easily overtake something like
because
Bitcoin.
of its positioning.
Right. Yeah. So you look at all that stuff, and but going back to it, I started doing a lot of trading. I started looking at one of the biggest ones for me was Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys remember Bitcoin. It's still around. It's a shit coin. Sorry, that's what it's called. And back in 2018, I saw it jumping. It was in top 15. It was dumping. It was jumping, and so I ended up taking. I had gone up to like 700,000 in what I had created as far as growth, and I invested 200 into it. Didn't pan out, dipped some more, so I did some DCA with it. Dollar cost average, picked up some more. It dumped a little bit, and at the end I said, screw it. I pumped all the rest of what I had into it. I was out with one of my partners at that time, and I looked down, and it was going through a pump. I looked down, and that 700 was now 1.8. Got back to my office, and one of my advisors stopped me and basically took an hour of my time asking me questions. And then he said something about crypto, and I looked down, I said, fuck, I probably missed it, but it's actually now 2.5. So he actually did me a favor. I was able to pull out, but then 500,000 got stuck because everybody was pulling out at the same time. It wasn't until 2 weeks later that I was able to pull out that remaining 500, which is only 40,000 at that point. So I ended up up like 1.5, and I continued to do that type of stuff, investing into different cryptos, and then what I started doing is I got into leveraging through Binance, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the leveraging, but the 10x, 20x, 30x, and then I've had the ability to make $20,000 in 5-10 minutes. Also, you have the capability of losing it that way, especially in a market like this. But I grew my portfolio to over 10 million. And a lot of it's been invested back into some of the projects that we're doing now, like ClearChain Live Company, again, the first ever cryptocurrency final expense company, which is really exciting because if you look at it, we don't have anything like it. And it allows the individuals that want to buy life insurance not only to get stuck in a final expense death benefit of $5,000-$10,000, but I also participate in increasing death benefit by tying it to Bitcoin. You know, Go Donor, our platform for crypto Kickstarter and campaigns for fundraising, is going to be an amazing project. We have a really unique ability that's going to be able to provide, and that's going to be where an individual that's receiving a donation has the ability to lock 50% of their donation while it's going through the process into an emerging token, like maybe like a Solana or the Ethereum. And it could be that at the end of that contract cycle or that campaign, you know, there's 10,000 donated, but the actual payout is 14,000 because they participated in an increasing part of the token too. We're looking to enable the abilities to do like tying it to like an index, crypto index. But you know, we have different software chain developers that are working on these, and one of them is Nathaji Medavir. He is the creator of Banker Deutsch, which is now AltruCoin, and basically what they do is they create vaults for companies in the crypto market, so to allow their token holders to stake their tokens and earn rewards for that. Now, what he's doing for us is he's actually creating vault that's going to allow individuals to increase their earn on any type of fundraising campaign or a Kickstarter campaign by allocating, their 50% of whatever's being donated to them to an increasing market in the crypto space. Bless you.
Right on. So, how can people find you and your company?
Okay, so yeah, so the first one is going to be clearchainlife.com. Mm-hmm. And that is the first ever cryptocurrency alternative to life insurance company. The second one is Go Donor, and that's GODONR.com. And Go Donor again is going to be our platform for kickstarting and fundraising in the crypto market. We are launching our token, which is the ticker is DONR Donor. It will be going on Latoken. It's going to be going on Hotbit and also on, lastly on,
iBox.
VBox, yeah.
VBox, yeah.
So those three, we'll be seeing it on 10/15, and we have 10 billion supply. We see a lot of opportunity that's going to be made available through that. We are going to be having something that's very exciting, and that's going to be the fundraiser of the quarter, where the community gets to pick a fundraiser, a charitable community that comes together and picks, let's say, Children's Hospital as that community or the donation of the quarter, and we then will supply them with 1% of the earnings of that particular quarter. We'll be doing that perpetually.
Right on. That's awesome, man. Cool.
Some great projects. I want to, Wizzo, what's up with the compadres?
What compadres?
Your NFTs, isn't that what it's called? Your NFTs that you're working on?
Yeah, that was the NFT project that I had mentioned. It's called Crypto Compadres, and
cool.
it's a platform for underserved communities to have access to the NFT ecosphere. So that would be through either the community investing in projects or investing in businesses, real life experiences. But it's actually providing the utility back to a community to perpetuate kind of more underserved communities jumping on.
Yeah, you had mentioned that, but I don't think you said the name, so we want to make sure we tag your projects, Tracy's projects too, and Manny's. Definitely.
After the live, we'll be putting everyone's information in the description, so you guys will be able to find them nice and easy. Cool. Well, you guys, thank you so much for your time. I felt like this was short because there were so many big topics. I feel like we could have gone for another 30 minutes and gotten deeper into things. Thank you guys so much for your time. Is there anything else that anyone wants to share before we conclude?
Yeah.
Don't get left behind.
Put some tips together. There's some good dip out there right now.
Yeah, exactly. This is a great time to onboard people. And I want to connect with everybody on the panel too. So
yeah, definitely. By the way, this is not financial advice. Legal disclaimer, just letting everyone know. Thank you so much for being here, and peace.